Hello everyone, how's everyone going today? Welcome to the CoderDojo. We're going to be doing a racing game today. Let's see how fast I can get up to. Oh no, let's try that again. Welcome Chazakanaza. Welcome Blake, 9 Infamous. Welcome William Doro Gaming. Welcome Hamish Bullen, or I think Kitty Comics. Uh-oh. Not driving. Was not paying attention to the road. Welcome to AD, maybe, on Preeti Lamba's account. Welcome to everyone. Just looking through the chat at the moment. I knew it was only a matter of time, Charles, before you were like, do we get XP for this? It's a little too hard to sort of figure out XP right now, but depending how long this goes on for. Oh, there we go. All right, the best time is now 18 seconds. Let's see if I can beat that. Aha, Hamish Bullen and Kitty Comics are the same. Hello, Hamish Bullen, aka Kitty Comics. Hey Simon. Hey Charles. Hey Blake. Hey Crazy Kid. I will probably usually refer to you by your YouTube name just because it's what's in front of me. Ugh. Okay kids, remember when driving, never ever read chat. That's like rule number 1, I'm pretty sure. Oh, I'm a bit fast. Okay. Oh, I was in good time too. Let's try that again. So just letting everyone know, I always give it a few minutes while people arrive. Usually just takes a few minutes just for everyone to get here. So just for the first few minutes, I'd just like to demonstrate the game. Welcome everyone in chat, and then we'll go over some of the ground rules of how this... I beat the record. What's it down to 15? How this session will go. There we go. I hope you guys are all... ready to make a racing game. Okay, let's see. I'll do one more. Come on. Yes, down to 14. I don't think I can get underneath 14. We'll see how we go. All right. Well, we've given a bit of time for everyone to get in. So what I'll do now is I'll go over some of the ground rules and just some advice as well. If you can, set up with 2 screens so that I'm on one screen and that your Scratch project is on another screen. So if you have a computer with 2 screens, you can do it that way. Otherwise, if you have like a TV that can stream YouTube, try and put the YouTube stream on the TV, and then you can have your computer, your laptop, your iPad, whatever, and be doing your coding on that. Yeah, so something like that. If you have a laptop and an iPad, try and do it that way. If you can have it on 2 screens, it makes it a lot easier. But if you don't have 2 screens, that's fine as well. You can just switch between 2 tabs like this. In between bits of coding, I'll slow down, give everyone some time to catch up, and I'll post my code as we're making it in the chat so you can find it. Okay. Oh, don't forget the welcome sign when it's time. Yep, that's true. All right, I'll remove it now. And I'm going to make sure do you remember last time how I accidentally deleted the wrong thing? Okay, we're fine. We're fine. I deleted the right thing this time. Yes, that was a little worrying when that happened last time. Just a few other things as well. Don't spam into chat. Spamming is when you type the same thing over and over and over and over again. It just fills up the chat with a lot of stuff, and it makes it harder for people to actually talk to each other, which is what the chat is there for. The chat's there so that I can look across and see if someone needs help. It's there so that you guys can talk to each other, help each other, discuss how your game is going. And if you just fill it up with like random emojis, like spamming emojis, that is, then it kind of spoils the chat. So I noticed there were some people spamming earlier. Just don't do that in this chat, please. Obviously, as well. Oh yeah. So if you spam, I will time you out. Which is usually for 30 seconds, which means you won't be able to type into chat for 30 seconds. So keep things clean, so no swearing in chat, that kind of thing. And the other thing is use the online version of Scratch if possible. Alrighty, guys, are we ready to go? Oh, the magpie. The magpie is back, Blake. All right, well, just imagine Blake trying to frantically code while being attacked by a vicious magpie. Poor Blake. All right. Well, hopefully you defeat that villain, that monster who's attempting to take away from your coding. So, now that we're all ready to go, so what we need to do is we need to go across to the Scratch website. Now, some of you are probably already there, but just in case you have not done, you have not used Scratch before, then this is how you get to it. You just type Scratch into Google, as in scratched by a cat. And then you click on Scratch Imagine Program Share, which should be the first thing that comes up. All right, cool. Then what you do is you go to Create. And if you don't have an account, try to create an account at some point. Because that will allow you to share your project and send it to me. Now, there's one other thing as well. If your project doesn't work, like you run into problems, then what I need you to write into chat is say, it isn't working, I've shared it, and my Scratch name is, and then give me your Scratch name. So you need to make sure that you press this orange share button here. You can't put links into chat, unfortunately. So make sure you share it, this orange button here, and then let me know what your Scratch name is, and I'll be able to look up your project, and I'll look into the code, and we'll all of us together look at it. So if I'm helping fixing a person's project, keep following along, because you might see what I've missed if we can't figure it out. Or your problem might be the same problem as them, and my explanation for them might be like, oh, that works for me too. There was one particular game, I think it was the platformer that we did last week, or was it earlier this week? The platformer game, where a person had written 7 minus instead of -7. And I was just looking at the code going, what's wrong? Why isn't it working? And eventually figured it out. So there are times when it's hard to figure out what's gone wrong in the code. So you guys can help me out. If I'm like, man, what's wrong? You can be like, Jonathan, this is the solution. And there's one more thing, and that is there's a bit of a delay between you seeing my video and me seeing your comments. So what I'm doing, what I'm saying, and what video you're seeing, it's in real time to what the comments. I can see all the comments there. So if you write comments, I'm not ignoring you, but bear in mind that anything I say, I said like 10 seconds ago, because you get it late, just because we all have Australian internet. So, alas. All right, that's everything. Let's start some coding. So that's all good. Bring up my notes. All right, so, and I'm just going to make sure you can see everything. Yeah, good. You can see these buttons. You can see the sprites. Excellent. ready to go. So first things first, let's delete the cat sprite. You come down here to the bottom right where the little cat with sprite 1 is, and you click the X to get rid of it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to backdrops. So bottom right corner, hover over where it says choose a backdrop, but go up to paint. Because we want to paint our backdrop. We want to paint it a color, and I'm just going to paint mine gray. This is going to be the color of your road. So to get gray, that looks about right. Now, to do a fill, this tool here, what you need to do is there's a button that you should see called Convert to Bitmap. Now, there are two types of images in Scratch, that is. One is a bitmap image, which is made up of pixels, and one is a vector image, which is made up of shapes. Vector images are usually better because they scale really well. If you make them really big, they don't pixelate. Whereas bitmaps, if you scale them really big, they look really grainy and pixely and chunky. But in this case, in order to do a fill, what we need to do is we need to convert our image to bitmap. So we click on that button, and you should see it changes to and now that button says convert to vector, and some of our tools have changed. But now we should be able to use the fill button, which is like a little, it's meant to look like a jug pouring out paint, and we can click that, and we should now have a gray backdrop. Okay? All right. So hopefully everyone's keeping up. That's good. And we only need this one backdrop. We just need it to be gray, whatever the color your road is going to be. Okay, so let's make our car sprite, shall we? So to make a new sprite, you hover over the little cat face button in the bottom right corner, which should say choose a sprite. But again, we're going to paint this one. So go up to where it says paint. And I'm just going to make a very simple car. I'm going to. You can change the color of your car to whatever you like. I like blue. I think blue will stand out. Yeah, blue. And so to make a car, and we want this car to be very small, so click on the zoom button, which is a little magnifying glass, right in the middle of your screen. So it'll be kind of to the bottom right of the drawing area, because we only want this to be very little. I'm going to make that even a little bit smaller. Okay, this is like a good-sized car. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make some black squares for the wheels. I'm going to do a black square for the front, so it kind of looks like it's got a bumper. I'm going to do 2 black squares for the front windshield and the back windshield. Now, the other nice thing about keeping this image as a vector and not a bitmap is that you can take all of these boxes and you can move them around by clicking up here with the select cool. Yeah, I'm not very good at art either, Chazza. So don't worry, your car doesn't need to look any particularly good. Just follow my lead and we'll do some basic graphics together. All right, so yeah, that seems fine. That seems good. All right, so I'll give you a bit of time just to finish up your car sprites. And when you're ready, make sure that we name this sprite, because we should name all of our sprites, car. Okay. Alrighty, I'm hoping everyone's following along okay. Don't want to go too quick, because I know that sometimes doing the art can be a bit frustrating. Takes a bit of getting used to, the difference between bitmap images and vector images. Ah, your car is a Cybertruck, is it? Very nice, very nice. Yep, you can also just download an image from Google, that's fine as well, but just make sure it's very small. So either make sure it's very small on the other thing as well, once you've got your car image, make sure, use the select, which is this picture of a mouse here. Make sure it's not the mouse with like the little, not the reshape tool, we want the select tool. And make sure that your whole car, when you grab all of the bits, you need to make sure it's right in the middle. So you need to make sure that this cross snaps right into this crosshairs here. And you'll notice that it really just nicely clicks in. If I just show you what that looks like, it just really just, there we go. And now that's nice and in the middle. Now, with the image from the internet, Blake, make sure that you still have, can you see this checkerboard pattern in our drawing area? This means that there is nothing present, it's empty. If your image fills all this up, then your car will not collide very well, because the image, it doesn't care, because then what happens is if you have like this big white box, for example, around your car, it will like knock into the edges of our road. But see how you go. All right, so what we're going to do now, when everyone's ready, we're going to go across to make our track. Actually, no. Before we make our track, let's put some code in the car. Let's get our car working. Okay, so I'm just going to sneeze. Oh no, it's the worst feeling when a sneeze just stops. Oh, it's going to escape when I least expect it now. All right, okay, so we're going to put some code in our car. So make sure that you've come and clicked on the top left corner where it says code. We should only have one sprite, so that should be good that the car is selected. We need to get a when green flag clicked from the events category on the left there. So we go to events, and then we get when green flag clicked. Make that nice and big for you guys to see. All right. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that our car starts somewhere. So I just want my car to start about here. So at the beginning of the game, I always want my car to start about there. And I want my car to be facing up. So to make the car start here, we need to go to the motion category on the left. And we need to look for some code which says go to X and then a number, and then Y and then a number. Now these numbers, they relate to coordinates across the screen. And I've covered that before, but just remember that, so if you need a bit of a quick refresh, this is where all the coordinates are. So the X is where you are from the left to the right. The Y is where you are from the top to the bottom. 0 is in the middle. Anything on the left is an X number that has a minus in front of it. Anything on the right is an X number that doesn't have a minus in front of it. The same is true of the Y. Anything below the 0 is like minus 100, this one here, plus 100's there. So if this character were to go to X equals 100 and Y equals minus 100, it would go to X equals 100, Y equals minus 100. It would go literally here where I'm wiggling my mouse. And that's how coordinates work. All right, so you can also see the coordinates here. This is the X and this is the Y, and that is wherever your sprite is currently on the screen. And you can, if you know where the coordinates are that you want, then you can just type them in. I want my car to start off at X equals 0 and Y equals minus 90. Now what we want to do is we want to point in direction. Okay? So, what we need to do is we need to go to the motion category on the left, which is dark blue, and we need to get point in direction. Now it will say 90. Now there are numbers that we can type in that will point this car in different directions. However, Scratch makes it really easy for us. Are we ready? So we've got our point in direction blocks. Just click on that 90. And then do you see what comes up here? I love this wheel. This wheel makes things so much easier. So now all you need to do is you can turn it to whatever direction you want it to point. And I want the car to be pointing upwards. So now if we hit the go button, the green flag, we should have a car that always goes to this point on the screen or somewhere close to it and points upwards. Okay? All right. So it's also kind of important that your car in the draw area is facing to the right, like mine is. Because, yeah, we're going to move it around with some code. All right, so you should have a car drawn. Your background should be gray, and you just need these 3 lines of code. When green flag clicked, go to X, 0, Y, minus 90, and point in direction 0. So you can see what colors these are. This one's sort of orangey yellow, so you get that from events. You can see that these are dark blue, so you get them from the dark blue category motion. All right? So hopefully you're all still with me. All right. So now what we're going to do is we are going to create a speed variable. Now a variable is, in this case, going to be a number that changes. Variables can hold different types of information. It's basically a value that can change. If you don't understand that, that's fine. You'll understand more when we continue. So come across with me to the left side. We need this dark orange category called variables. Okay? If you want to, if you already know how, you can delete the my variable variable by right-clicking on this where it says my variable, and then normal click on delete. But that's not super important, so you don't have to do that if you don't want to. What we do have to do, all of us together, is we have to make a new variable. To do that, there should be a gray button right in the top left corner of the screen that says make a variable. Click on that with me, okay? Good. Now you should have this screen where it says new variable name. We want to call this variable speed, because we have a need for speed. And then after that, we want to make sure that for all sprites is the option we've selected. So we need to make sure that we've clicked the little thing next to where it says for all sprites. When we're done with that, we just press OK. All right, we've made a new variable, and the variable is called speed. Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to make sure that the speed starts at a certain number. We need to decide what starting speed do we have when the game begins. So you can see now you should have some dark orange blocks on the left side. We want to set speed to 1. Okay? Set speed to 1. So grab where it says set speed, and it'll probably say set speed to 0. That's okay. Drag that out. Put it right underneath where it says point in direction. And let's change it so it goes set speed to 1. Aha! You are speed. Ah, very good. Got to go fast. So, now what we need to do is we need to get a forever loop. So go across to events, which is yellow. Actually, no, go to control, the one right underneath events. I always get events and control confused. I think they're kind of similar. So, and then you should find a block called forever. That block will have a gap in it, and in this gap, we want to put a move block. So you go to the dark blue category on the left called motion, and you grab what says move 10 steps, and you put it right inside of that gap in the forever. And then what we need to do is we need to go back to the variables category, because what we're going to do is, can you see there's a little round speed block? It's like a little circular one. Grab that one, and it should fit just nicely inside where it says move 10 steps. So drop it over the 10. And now you should have code that says forever move speed steps. Okay? So hit go. Let's see if the car moves. All right. Car is moving. Good, good, good. And if you hit stop and go again, it should start in a certain place and start moving. All right, cool. So we've got the car moving. So what we need to do now is we need to create some controls. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you something which I don't think we've used before. We're going to be making our own blocks today. And this is going to make it a bit easier to figure out what all our code does and where it fits. So we're going to go to this category which says My Blocks, and it's kind of pink-red. So now there should be a button which is Make a Block in the top left corner. And now it should ask what you want your block to be named. So what we're going to call this block is we're going to call this controls. Because this is where all of our controls are going to go. So press OK. Now, two things should happen. One, you should now have floating around somewhere this pink sort of rounded at the top block called define controls. And now you should also have in the top left corner a little controls block. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the little controls block for the top left corner, drag that down, and pop it right underneath where it says move speed steps. How's everyone going so far? Keeping up? You all right? Okay. So what this does is once you get to this point in the code, after move speed steps, when it hits controls, then what it will do is everything that we put underneath define controls. So if you can see my mouse on the screen, the computer will run the code like this, all the way down. And then once it goes to where it says controls, it will go up to where it says define controls and do everything that we've asked that to do. And this is a really good way of keeping track of your code and having it organized into neat little bits so that it's not all in one long line and you don't know what each thing does. If your code's all in one huge, massive chunk, when you're looking at it, trying to figure out what it all does, you're like, oh man, what does this bit do again? Oh, I've forgotten. So this keeps things a lot easier. Okay. Oh, good job, Blake, adding sound to your game. That's fantastic, Blake. Well done. Okay, so we've got our my blocks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put some ifs in. So we need to go to control, the orangey yellow category on the left, and we need to get an if. We need to put this if underneath define controls. Or we're not just using it once, William Doro, don't worry. We're going to be using a lot of make blocks today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the light blue category on the left now. And we're going to get a key space pressed line and pop it. And you can see that this is kind of like diamond shaped-ish, like a gem. And you can see that this is all like a gem-shaped hole next to the if. So put that inside there. So we've got if key space pressed, then. Now we don't want this to be when we press the space bar. We want this to be when you press the left arrow. So what we need to do is we need to click on this white triangle next to where it says space, and then we need to go left arrow. And now if you want to do yours with WASD controls, you can do that as well, but otherwise just follow me, okay? So now what we need to do is we need to turn our car. So let's all go across to motion, the dark blue category on the top left. And we need, now there are 2 turns. Can you see there are 2 turns? We need, actually, which one do we need? Do we need the first one or the second one? The top one or the bottom one? To turn our car left. Write your answers in chat. And I hope you got your answers in, because the answer is we need the second one. All right. Now, 15 degrees is a bit too much, in my opinion, so let's change that to 10 degrees. So now we should have, if key left arrow pressed, then turn 10 degrees. All right, so now let's see if we can turn left. Oh, we can. Nice. We can't turn right yet, but we can turn left. Very nice. Okay, so all we need to do now is do the same thing for the right arrow. So there's a way of doing this quickly, and that's if we hover over where it says if with our mouse, and we right-click, which is this one here, right-click, and then we just normal-click where it says duplicate. Now you should have another one. Make sure you put it right on the bottom, and now we can just change this. So we can change key left arrow to being right arrow. Now if we used the second turn to turn left, which turn do we need to use to turn right? Write your answers in chat. And how many degrees do we want to turn? Yes. So we want the first turn, and we want it to turn 10 degrees. Otherwise, we'll turn faster in one direction than the other. Okay, so hit the green flag on your game and just see if your car is driving. Still going very slow. We're about to change that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add in a way to speed up and slow down. So scroll down a little bit, and we're going to do the same thing we did before where we duplicated. We're going to right-click on the if. We're going to duplicate, and you should have another if key something arrow pressed. Let's make this one key up arrow pressed. Now, we don't want this to turn us, so grab this turn here and throw that away. All right? We want this to change a variable. So let's go across to the dark orange category, variables. And we want to change our speed. So grab where it says change speed by 1 and put that right in the gap of our new if. And we don't want it to be 1. If we change our speed by 1, we accelerate too quickly. So we're going to put in a number that's smaller than 1. And I think what worked out for me last time, yeah, we're going to go 0.1. So click on the 1 where it says change speed by 1. We want to type in 0, full stop, 1. You can give it a test if you want with setting the speed really high, but I guarantee you the car will become too fast. But here we go. So now we should have a car that we can speed up and move around. Give it a little bit of a test, make sure it's working. Then if you hit stop and start, it should start off again at speed 1, nice and slow. Alrighty, very nice. It's obviously going crazy fast right now. Let's hit stop. Okay, so let's make it so that we can slow down as well. So this should be nice and easy. Right-click on the if, which we just did, that one we just made, and duplicate that again. Remember, put it right underneath, make sure it's not stuck inside the other one. And now we're going to change this one to back arrow, or down arrow, I should say. And if we want it to slow down, then what we need to do is we need to say minus 0.1. All right, give that a test, see if that's working. Can you slow down? Can you speed up? Can you turn? All right, looks good. Looks very good. You got your speed up to 118, crazy kid? Oh my goodness. Madness. All right, so now we've got our basic controls. I'm just going to zoom out now a little bit so you can see. So now we know that everything here under define controls is all to do with all of our controls. So it's nicely contained. So if we want to make any changes to the way our car controls, we know where the code is. Oh yes, you should be able to go into negative speed like this as well. That's fine. So you should be able to go to reverse, and you can see that the variable in the top left corner has got a negative in front of it. It's got a minus, which means the car's going backwards. And that's fine. That's okay. If people want to do that, they can. Alrighty. So what we need to do now is we need to make some more art. All right. So we've done a bit of code. Now let's go back to doing some art. So let's go to the bottom right corner. We're going to make a new sprite. We're going to paint a new sprite. We're going to click paint. And what we're going to do is we're going to make some track. So to do this, we need to convert to bitmap because we're going to do some filling again. Remember? So there should be a blue button that says convert to bitmap. Click that and we're in the right place. Then what we need to do is just click on the brush tool, this paintbrush here. I'm just going to make this black. I'm just going to paint the sides of the track like this. Nice and wiggly. All right. And then, after you've got just these two wiggly lines, what you need to do is you need to go to the fill tool, which looks like a bucket being tipped over. And I'm going to make the sides of my track green. Uh-oh. So you can see with the fill tool, when I clicked on the left side, it went fine. When I clicked on this right side, there was a hole in my line. So I'm just going to fix up that hole. Uh-oh. Now, if you ever want to find the same color that you used before, here's a handy trick, okay? So in the top left, so let's say you've got the fill tool selected. If you go to the top left corner, where you change your color, you should find this little weird pen-shaped object in the bottom right of the little color menu that comes up, right? So I'm just wiggling my mouse over it now. So click on that little object. I think it's called, I forget what it's called. Click on that, and then when you hover over your picture, you can see that what it will do, it will let you pick up a color that you've already used before, so that you're using the same color. And now, there we go. Nice and easy. Cool. So let's name this track. Let's name this sprite to be called track. And let's make sure that this is in the center of the screen. So where's the center of the screen? Write your answers in chat. I'm going to be typing it into just the middle right of your screen where it's got X and Y. Center of the screen is 0 and 0. If you want to undo, there it should be just in the sort of toward the top left of the screen. There should be a little arrow that's going backwards and a little arrow going forwards. The one that's going backwards is undo, and the one that's going forwards is redo. So I'm just hovering over it with my mouse now. Hopefully that's useful. All right, so we've got a track. So let's go and put some more code into our car. I'll give you guys some more time just to finish off some of the art that you're doing there. The key thing that what we're doing here is you can see all of this checkerboard in the middle of the track. This means it's empty. It means our car can go through it without touching the track. But if it touches anything, doesn't matter what color it is, then it will register that it dies. All right. So let's go to, when everyone's ready, let's go back to the car. And let's go back to the code. Top left corner where it says code, make sure. All right, if we hit start, just make sure your car doesn't immediately crash into the track. Yeah, that's good, that's fine. Now at this point, it can just go underneath the track. But we're going to change that now. So what we're going to do is we're going to make another block. So to do that, we need to go to My Blocks, the bottom left, on the left category that's kind of pinky red. We need to click the button that says Make a Block. And this block is going to be called Am I Dead? Let's give it its name. Am I dead? Question mark. Okay, so am I dead? Press OK. So you should have a block now called Am I Dead? And you should also now have, remember, define Am I Dead? Put this over here so it's got its room to put some code underneath it. And what we're going to do is in the top left corner, you should have a little small Am I Dead block. Grab that and put that right underneath controls. Okay? So what we need to do now is we need to do some collision, which we've done in some of our previous games. And it's nice and simple. Let's go to control, the orangey category on the left. Let's get an if. Let's put that underneath define Am I Dead? And let's ask the question, am I touching the track? To do that, we need to get another little gem-shaped piece of code from the light blue sensing category. So sensing, the light blue category on the left, and then we need what says touching mouse pointer. Pop that in to the if statement. I'll zoom in for you so you guys can see a bit better. But we don't care if the car's touching the mouse pointer, we want to see if it's touching the track. So click that white triangle and change it to track. And if we are touching the track, it's game over. So let's grab a stop all. We get stop all from control. The orangey category on the left, stop all. All right, now let's run our game. Let's run into the track. And it should just stop. Good. Perfect. That's what we want. So this is all the code that you need, nice and simple. So let's make, once everyone's done with that, I'm just going to give everyone some time just to make sure that's working. Give it a test, make sure it's working. If it's not working, let me know. Once we're done with that, let's make another block. And we're going to call this block tracks. So you remember how to make a block? Put define tracks with some room. Put tracks right underneath Am I Dead? Yep. Cool. Okay. So what we need to do now is we need to let's get this first piece of code. So we need an if statement. What we need to do is we need this car, when it gets to the top of the screen, we need it to go all the way back to the bottom of the screen. And we also need to let the game know to change the track. So just as a reminder, this is how it works. You can see the car, when it gets to the edge, it changes the track and it moves, right? It moves like to the opposite side, so it looks like you've gone onto a new screen. But actually the car is what's moved. The car is what changed sides, okay? So that's what we need to do now. To do that, we're going to do this line here. If we hit the top of the screen, we need to make sure that the car gets sent back to the bottom of the screen and that we move the number of tracks up by 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask a question. To do that, we need an if block. We need an if statement. So go across to control. So I think you're okay now, Darpy Darp, William. I think you're okay. You said I realized and it works. If it's not working, let me know in chat. All right, so what we need to do now is we need to go to control, the orangey category on the left. We need to get an if then. The if that we need to ask is going to be, have you gotten to the top of the screen? Now there's the easiest way of asking if we've gotten to the top of the screen is to ask if we've gotten to y more than a number. And I'll just tell you, it's more than 179. So we need to ask if the y value, which is how high the sprite is on the screen, is it up high or is it down low? Have you gotten to more than 179? So what do we need to do? We need to go to operators. We need to get a more than block. Everyone type the symbol for more than into chat. Give me your answers. Then we put that, so we find here the more than symbol should be one of these three over here on the left. You can see it's a little arrow that's pointing to what's currently says 50. But we're going to change that. I'm going to zoom in on our tracks code for you so you can see it. And then what we need to do is we need to go to motion, the dark blue category on the left. We need to get our trusty, if we scroll to the bottom, we should find a little circular one called Y position. And we need to change the 50 to 179. So if Y position more than 179, then what we need to do is we need to send the car all the way to the bottom and in the middle so that it doesn't arrive like here or something crazy like that. So let's get a go to. So go to X and Y. Now, if we want the car to be in the middle in terms of X, in terms of its left and rightness on the screen, we need that number to be 0. So we need to be go to X 0. And what we're going to do is we're going to say Y 179. Okay, let's test that. See if it's working. Oh, not working. Oh, wait. I did it wrong. Who's figured out what I did wrong? 179 is up here. This is minus 179. So our code needs to read go to X 0, Y minus 179. All right, I was just testing you. Yeah, absolutely, I was just testing you. Okay, give it a test now that we've got the minus in there. And let's see, does your car just keep going infinitely? So that should be working, okay? Alrighty, so hopefully you're still with me. What we need to do now is we're going to do something that's going to be useful later. We're going to go to variables. We're going to make a new variable. So you go to the dark orange category on the left, click on make a variable, and we're going to call this track. And then what we need to do is we need to get change variable by 1, put it right underneath our go to XY. And we need to make sure that the change variable is not speed, like I've got it here, but track. So change track by 1. So let's see if this works. Yep. So what happens is each time it goes through one of the changes, the track should go up by 1. All right, good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this code 3 times, the ifs. So follow along with me because we need to make sure that we are asking different questions. But essentially it's the same thing. If you've gotten to the edge of the screen, go to the opposite of the screen. So let's click on if, right click on if and duplicate. Put it underneath, make sure it's not tangled inside the other if statement. This time round, let's switch this to be if Y position is less than minus 179. All right, so less than, the arrow is pointing to the y position. Less than, the arrow is pointing to the left. And then if the y position is less than 179, we have to go to the opposite side. Opposite of minus 179 is 179. Okay. Give that a test. See if you can reverse now. Can you reverse? Yeah, that seems good. Alrighty. So now what we're going to do is duplicate 2 more. Now, the first of the new, and we need these to be about not y position, but x position. So these 2 new ones that we've duplicated, pull out the y positions and throw them away. We don't need them. Then go up to the top left corner, motion, the category motion, dark blue, scroll down until we get this little circular X position. And then put the X position into the green operator. Now X goes all the way up to 240. So what we need to do is we need to ask if X position is more than 239. So Blake, double check that with your Y positions that you've got the minuses and the not minuses in the right place. And make sure that you've got a less than and a more than in the right place. If you are more than 179, you go back to minus 179. If you are less than minus 179, you go back to 179. That's all right. We're nearly at the end now of our session. I will show you a little bit on how you can make more tracks. And then I'll go through and I'll help anyone whose project isn't working. So now we need to make sure that, so we should have 4 of these if statements, 2 about the y position and 2 about the x position. Let's just make sure that this is working. So we're now looking at the third one. If x position is more than 239, go to y equals 0 and x equals minus 239. Okay? And then let's make sure that our fourth if asks the reverse. Uh-oh, don't do that. Let's see. Need a less than. If x position less than minus 239. Alrighty. So it needs to go to 239. So you should have already the y's sorted. The 2 ifs with the x's in should ask if x position more than 239, then go to x minus 239, y equals 0. If, and then the fourth and final if statement is if x position is less than minus 239, then go to x 239. The way you've got to think about it is with the coordinates, This is neutral, the very middle. Anything that's going to the right is positive for x, and you need to ask of things like more than if you're going positive. And anything to the left is going negative, so you need to ask things like less than. And the same is true of y. If you're going up, you're in positive territory. You need to be asking, are you more than? And if you're going lower than the 0, then you're in negative territory and you need to be asking about less than. It's a bit hard to get, so don't worry. If you don't understand, that's fine. That's how it works. Otherwise, don't stress. Just copy my code and it should work. All right, so cool, all fixed, Blake. Very nice. So we should have this code working. All that we need to do now is two things. We need to make sure that we start on track number 1 at the very beginning of the game. So we need to put set track, which is one of our variables, to 1. So where do we put that? Write your answers in chat. In the meantime, follow along with me. We're going to go to variables, the orangey category on the left. We're going to grab set a variable, and we're going to put that right underneath the green flag. So it's set track to 1. Doesn't matter too much where it is, as long as it comes somewhere before the forever. Okay, so I hope I'm not lagging too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this. So, crazy kid, you remember what you're meant to do. If you need help, you gotta say, "Oh, stream stopped." All right, I'll give some time to make sure. I've posted my game into the chat, so you should be able to. See that. We've got pretty much everything. So you'll notice there are some things that I knew we wouldn't have time for in my version of the game. But the only other thing that we have left to do is nice and simple, and that is making new tracks. So we have one last piece of code to do. So just follow along with me. And then I'll get to your code in a second, Catman Sim. We need to go to track. We need to go to code. We need to get a forever. And we need to go to looks, the purple category on the left. And we need to switch costume to, and then we're going to go to variables and grab this little round track and put it in there. So this is the code that you need to be in track. That's all you need. All right? Alrighty, Catman Sim. Let's have a look-see. So have you shared your game, Catman Sim? You haven't shared it. It's not here. Look, it's not here. So you got to share it for me, okay? Let me know once you've shared it, and then I can look at the code. We can all look at the code together. So in the meantime, this is how you make new tracks. It's pretty much the same way we made the tracks before. The only thing you've got to do is make sure that you name all the costumes a number, and that's the track that's the order that you'll see these in. So what we're going to do Alrighty, let's refresh, see if your game comes up. So Catman Sim, I don't see it, dude. All I see is your egg game. Maybe there's a so Catman Sim, you want me to have a look at your project, but I can't. I'll try going back into your account like this way. View all. I don't see it. I'll come back to it in a second. So just in the meantime, I just need to let you guys know this is how you make new tracks, okay? So I'm just going to duplicate this. You can grab this select tool here to like select things and then delete them. And then, just like before, can do some painting. You can do this, you know, when you've got a bit more time for it. That's fine. And I'm going to call this 2. And then here's a really, really cool trick. Okay? If you duplicate this, and then you click on like select, you have these buttons here. There's flip horizontal and flip vertical. So if you do select, which is like the mouse with a little box, you can do things like whoop, and you can very quickly duplicate and flip like this and create really cool tracks. You can duplicate your straight one, but make sure that they're in the right order. And that they're numbered correctly. So just quickly, I'm just going to show you this. So you can see you can very quickly make quite a few tracks. And the only other thing you really need to do is make maybe a track that goes horizontally. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check on Catman Sim. Everyone else, keep making tracks for your game. I've just demonstrated how you can do it really fast. Make a bunch of different tracks, okay? So remember, make sure they're named correctly and then they're in the right order. Once you've done one corner, you can duplicate it and use flip horizontal and flip vertical. and then duplicate the straight line ones as well, and maybe make a straight line one that goes from left to right. Okay, so let's have a look at Catman Sim. Okie dokie. Oh no. Alrighty. Moment of truth. Studios. Very weird. Why is it not appearing? Unless, am I just missing it, Catman Sim? I don't see it. Am I just missing it? Is it somewhere weird? Are you logged in, maybe? Like, this isn't it, right?
Hello.
No, that's something else. I'm looking for it. I just can't see it. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there, dude. All right. In the meantime, so like, because I'm looking at here you are, crazy kid. And now it's finally appeared. Finally. All right. Let's have a look and see inside. It's all right. Sprite 1, stop all. So this here. Okay, so, all right, first of all, let's see what happens. Okay, so first of all, what you need, your car is spawning here, right? It's appearing here instead of here. And the problem is, oh wait, 1 second. Why is it spawning there though? Okay, it's in your tracks code. So you've got these wrong way around. All right, you ready? So, oh yeah, you need to set tracks to 1 at the beginning of the game. All right, so Catman Sim and everyone else, let's have a look at the code. What is wrong here? So, first of all, if Y position more than 179, this line needs to be Y equals minus 179, okay? So follow along with me, Catman Sim. Look to define tracks. So it needs to read if Y position more than 179. That's all correct. Go to X equals 0, Y equals minus 90. That's wrong. Change minus 90 to minus 179. Okay? You with me so far, Catman Sim? All right. Now go down to the second if. It says if Y position less than minus 239. This needs to be minus 179. Okay? And then it needs to say, so if Y position less than minus 179, then go to X equals 0, Y equals minus 179 is wrong. That just needs to be 179. So your tracks should always, and it says change tracks by -1, it always needs to be change tracks by 1. So so that's the second one of your ifs, okay? So your third if underneath where it says tracks. If x position is less than 239, then go to x equals 239. So that's wrong. It needs to be, you need to have the numbers are right, but you need to have the minus. So if x is less than minus, then go to the number without the minus. Then the fourth if x is more than minus 239, that's wrong. It needs to be more than 239. And if so, it needs to go to minus 239, okay? The way you've got to think about it like this is this. If your car is here, that is, it is here, this whole line here, this is 239. Everything more than 239 is like off the screen. Everything less than 239 is like the rest of the screen. But then you have, that's reversed on the other side. So on this side, it's minus 239. Okay? So just look at the code that I've got in front of me on the screen. That's what you need. Okay? So let's see if this works now. Okay, your speed's not working either. So, all right, well that's working, right? So if you make these changes to tracks, that will fix it. Okay? And now what we need to do is, oh, it's W, of course. Okay, yeah, that's the main thing. Everything else works fine. Okay? Apart from this here, when the green flag clicked, forever, switch costume to tracks. That needs to be in your actual tracks sprite. And that's where you put all your different track costumes. Okay? All right. So, that's everything. So, has everyone else added a bunch of tracks to their while we were going through that? Has everyone else done what I asked and added a bunch of tracks to their thing? Let's find out. Make sure your game is saved, because I'm going to come and play some of your games. We're running a bit over time, but I want to squeeze in some games, and then that will be us for this session. All right, who's ready to go? I saw some people. Darpy Darp. Darpy Darp is ready. Darpy Darp. Okay. Do you have some more tracks for me, Darpy Darp? Racing. Start. Is it W? Left and right. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. Oh, we don't have any more tracks yet. But that's still good. That's pretty good. Cool. Alrighty. Has anyone done some tracks? Let's see. Who else? Who else is ready? Inches. Oh, Inches needed some help. Okay. Alrighty. Okie dokie. So, see inside. That all seems good. Right. You have a problem here. The problem is when you're touching... Actually, what do you guys reckon the problem is here? Why won't the game start? The game won't start. But why is that? So, everyone put your answers into chat. It's because of this. You can see all of this. This is part of the track, which means that the sprite, when it hits this, thinks it's lost the game. But if we get rid of this, so then, yeah, it's fine now. Alrighty, so that's the answer. If you want to start track, that's fine, but make sure you make it as a separate sprite. Okay? Alright, so hopefully that's answered the question. Alright, let's look up someone else. Kitty cat, comics cat. Comics cat. Or Kitty Comics. So what's your Scratch name, Kitty Comics? Is it one word? You need to let me know your Scratch name, otherwise I cannot find you. All right. We've done Darby Dart. We've done inches. I did a search for Kitty Comics. You just saw me. Kitty Comics. I don't see anything. One word. 2 words. Don't see anything. You could try looking me up on Scratch. I did the search. So if you type in Pale Thorn, that's me. You should find me. Click on my name, Pale Thorn, there. My Scratch name, that is, at least. And then you should be able to click like follow or something like that. And then I might be able to find you here. Alrighty. While I'm at it, I need to also follow Catman Sim, follow, do some liking. Ooh, I can see there's extra tracks going in there. Good job, Catman Sim. All right, is there anyone else I'm not following yet? Little Jimmy. Alrighty. Like this. Yo-yo cake time. Alrighty. Yo-yo cakes. Oh no, come on. If I go to profile, find yo-yo cakes. There you are. Alrighty, let's have a look at the cyber race. I'll be all ready. Oh, yep, WASD. Oh, this is good. Oh, so good. Oh. Come on. Come on. Oh. This is good. Excellent. There we go. Nice. All right, let's check out Infamous. Racing game. Oh, zigzags. I see. All right. Alrighty, let's make this big. And we go. Uh-oh. I see a problem. Oh no, we're fine. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. I've got to try and get past that zigzag. Come on. Got there. Very good. Very good indeed. Alrighty. So, that's pretty much everything. Kitty Comics. I'll try one more try. Kitty Comics. I'll try the capitals just in case it makes a difference. Alright. Okay, Kitty Comics. Just double check. Double check that your Scratch account is public. It might be that if your parents help you make the Scratch account, you might need to talk with them just to make sure that your Scratch account is public. Otherwise, maybe for privacy reasons, I can't see you. Talk with them and see if they can help you out with that. Otherwise, what you can do, Kitty Comics, is, again, as I said before, look me up. So go to the search bar in Scratch, type in Pale, P-A-L-E, thorn, as in off of a bush or something. In fact, I'll even just post. I'll just post. So I'll post into here. So if you want to look me up, follow me, and then I'll be easily able to find you. Yeah, and I'm trying to make sure that I haven't missed anyone who... I'll follow little Jimmy. Follow. And also, if anyone wants to, they can come across to the studio, the Futures Lab CoderDojo studio. So you can just do a search for it. Let's see. Do we have some more people to invite to be creators? All right, so someone wanted to be a creator. Crazy Kid. Now, who is Crazy Kid again? It was... Inches already? Catman Sim, that's it. Catman Sim. All right, I've invited you. I'll hold off. I don't know who Little Jimmy is yet. I think that's everyone for now. Okay, yep, cool, good. So yes, next week we're going to be doing, on Monday, we're going to be doing Platformer Part 2. So look on the YouTube channel for Platformer Part 1, make sure, watch the video again, make sure that your game is up to that point, because we're going to continue on it. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post Part 1, and you can just remix it and add on to it. But it'll be better if you can do, so on Monday, if you can do Platformer Part 2 from your own project. So if you can, try and watch the video, the live stream I already did on how to make a platformer in Scratch. On Tuesday, we're going to do Flappy Bird. And then on Thursday, we're going to be doing a music, making music with Scratch. I think I'd love to do your math game, but I'll have to do it next time, Crazy Kid. I'd really like to do your math game. We've run out of time today. I'm already running a bit late. I'm supposed to try and wrap these up about 15 minutes ago. So that's what's happening next week. Monday is Platformer Part 2. Tuesday is Flappy Bird, which I know will make you very happy, Blake, because you've been asking that for that for a while. Thursday is making music with Scratch. It's going to be a lot of fun. Same time as always, 3:30 p.m. Feel free to add your projects to the Futures Lab studio. Feel free to leave a comment in any of the YouTube videos if you get stuck. If you start working through Platformer Part 1 and it doesn't work, and you're like, oh man, how do I do this? If you leave me a comment, I check the YouTube comments every day. So I will be able to leave you a message. You can even post your Scratch link for your project and say, why is it not working? And I can give you some help through the YouTube comments. And as always, if you subscribe and ring the bell for the YouTube channel, which makes you sound like a terrible YouTuber, you will get notifications of our future live streams. If you have any requests, like Blake, for example, asked for Flappy Bird, if you have some games you want to make, if you want to make a Pokemon game, or if you want to make like any sort of game, like then say, hey, can we make this game in the CoderDojo at some point? Leave that in the comments, because I'll find that in the comments of the YouTube video. It usually takes a few minutes after the stream finishes for you to be able to comment on the video, because YouTube has to finish the video up, but then you should be able to leave comments. You can always leave comments on previous YouTube videos if that's easier. You don't have to wait. The other thing as well is, when you can, put the link to your Scratch game in the comments of the YouTube channel, so that other people who come along to watch the video can see everyone who's done the game. Because what's really interesting, I don't know if you've noticed, we only have like maybe 12, 14 or so people at any point doing the live stream, but the video that I posted 2 weeks ago has like 100 views. So you can link your Scratch project in the comments of the YouTube video, and then that way everyone will be able to see, the people who watch the video later will be like, oh, all these people made the game. That'll be nice. And they can see, and then what I recommend. Oh, we have a cat visitor. And then what I recommend is go away and try and work on this project a bit more. So add some more tracks in, add some more stuff in. See if you can add more to the game. And then what I really want to do is be able to come back and play some of the games that I got you up to a certain point and you were able to do a lot more to once we finish the tutorial. So yeah, that's my challenge to you, to improve the game. Add in a bunch of new tracks. See if you can create a finish line that makes the game stop. See if you can make a high score system. And what I'll do is I'll post my other racing game. Actually, no, I won't, not just yet. What I might start doing is posting some of my games, and we can see who can get the highest score. But I won't do that just yet, not for this game. But in the future, that'll be a good thing to do. So, until then, we'll see you again Monday, Tuesday, Thursday at 3 p.m. But until I see you guys next time, stay awesome. Be cool to each other. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time, ninjas.